to find out how to avoid prison. That's the police we're dealing with at the moment. While they were arresting and prosecuting an old man for breaching that. That's one case. Another case, police went to a man's house. He had A category guns and E category guns. You need to have both those licences because in the old days you couldn't touch a E category. No one can shoot supervised with it. Police went there, took the magazines from the legal gun, put it in the A category gun, making it illegal, and arrested him. They literally manufactured the crime. Now what that meant was every shooter who has both those licences could be arrested. So I asked police, what do you want us to do? How can we make ourselves safe from this? Do you want us to store them in a certain way? They refused to tell me, even when the Ombudsman told them to. Police flat out refused to tell me how to avoid prison, again, as they're prosecuting someone with that policy. That is what they're dealing with. Police, in some cases, won't let us be legal. Now, what this does is gives police more draconian powers. A huge concern for me is the red flag laws. Now, what that means is, before I get my licence, people will go online and say, what's Mike said about this, what's Mike said about that? Now, first of all, two things. It says that you can't have a gun licence if you've been arrested for an offence overseas. Now, in some countries, if you stub your toe and swear, you can be arrested for that. That's an offence, that's an arrestable offence in some countries. That means you wouldn't be able to have a gun licence in New Zealand and you have no recourse. But also, I'm worried about the cooling effect. Because basically, if you're a shooter, it could be your livelihood, especially if you're a farmer, you need it. If you know that if you speak out on a social issue, you could be labelled an extremist, you're basically cooling commentary of 250,000 voters. That's quite an extraordinary thing to do. And a lot of these conversations need to be had. Even if I have something stupid to say, I need to say it so you can go, that's stupid, Mike. And then I'll learn. I'm serious. We need to have discourse. And what you're doing here, not only are you driving extremists underground, but the average person now would be afraid to comment on social media. You've basically silenced 250,000 voters if this goes through, because police will have extraordinary powers. I think that's an incredibly disturbing thing. You'll have to excuse the submission. It's going to be rambling, because there's a shotgun attack on our civil liberties here. They're all over the place. Also, we must be able to have a right of appeal to the district court when police abuse those powers. As it stands now, shooters who appeal a revocation of licence, for example, have a more than 90% success rate. So we must have that ability to question police abuse of power. Yes. So again, in some cases, police literally won't allow us to be legal, and that's quite mad. Again, I challenge you, all experienced people, can you imagine another government department that will refuse to tell a citizen how to avoid prison or how to stay legal? That's extraordinary. Police are out of control at the moment. They're quite out of control. And shooters now understand the police minister doesn't care, police commissioner doesn't care, police complaints authority are a joke, the ombudsman doesn't care. So basically, please leave us one expensive hope for justice, and that is the court system. The government has also added insult to very real injury. You'll be aware of that a criminal was able to circumvent police security and steal about 30 guns from them. Remember that? And by security, I mean they left the door open. That was an international embarrassment for us. They caught the guy. This is the guy he's basically a career criminal, stole guns from a police station, humiliated the nation, put them in the hands of gangsters, offered no support in getting them back. He's now been sentenced. He's going to serve about a year in prison for that. But it's okay. He was made to say sorry. I explained that to Americans. They laughed at us. We're literally ridiculous to people overseas. That's ridiculous to them. How can someone steal 30 guns in a home invasion of a police station and serve a year? Now, it's funny, ha-ha, but it's also funny, ridiculous. That's a national embarrassment. Not only that, and that happened right now. Even as you're stealing our sport, it's costing us thousands and thousands of dollars, you're releasing our worst offenders. One guy, our worst ever gun theft, he committed especially targeted gun theft with the specific purpose of getting guns and selling them to a gang. That was a specific purpose. So he's basically getting guns to threaten the community. When he committed that crime, he was serving a non-custodial sentence for his last gun crime, after a history of gun crime. He's just been paroled early, right now in the middle of this. Even as you attack us and savage us, you've released our worst ever gun thief on early parole. When he committed his last crime again on early parole. It's just, you're spitting in our face. You really are. It's just extraordinary. So not only are you not targeting gun criminals, the ones you've got, you're letting out, even as you attack us. And to shoot us, we're just left shaking our heads and shouting at social media. It's ridiculous. Now, there was a constant refrain over the last few months has been, I had no idea that. Every gun banner said that. I have no idea that there were so many shooters. I had no idea that there were so many guns. I had no idea that there were so many guns of that type. On behalf of all shooters, you're welcome. You didn't know because we're not a problem. The criminals are a problem and you're not targeting them, and that frustrates us. Now, the deadline for compliance with the new laws must be extended. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but police are incompetent. They've only just announced lists of approved gunsmiths who can modify the guns to make them legal. They've only just announced people who can value them for shooters to appeal. Months and months and months late. The numbers don't add up. If you work out the number of shooters who need guns modified divided by the number of approved people who can do it, there's simply not enough time. So you're either going to manufacture criminals or you will have to extend the deadline. I would suggest extending the deadline to the period that was originally suggested in advice to the Minister. He chose a shorter period, he didn't need to. Apparently Jacinda Ardern had a dream, woke up and prohibited ammunition. There was no consultation, this was an order in council, she just did it. That makes people like me, I have to surrender my ammunition without compensation. That's illegal. It just goes against precedent. You can't steal my property as the state without compensating me. That's just, you can't do that. That's not a thing. If you shut down asbestos, you have to pay the asbestos people. I mean, there's clear precedent for this over and over again. If you put a motorway through someone's house, you buy their property. So if you want to steal my property, you must compensate me for it. And right now, police are saying, oh no, you can sell it to a collector. There's a tiny number of collectors. And obviously, if police are going to let a collector have some ammunition, it's going to be 2 or 3 rounds. It's not going to be 100,000. What you need to understand about this ammunition, it's plinking ammunition. You get it incredibly cheap because it's military surplus. It's what we plink with. So people will have vast supplies of it. So we're not talking about a couple of rounds here and there. Many people are affected. I've targeted that. Many people are suggesting that shooters are divided on opposing these laws. I think you now get that that's a lie. I mean, I've sat here. Shooters are not opposed to these laws. And what I found really disturbing is the role police have taken. Police should be enforcing the law, not acting as a PR company for the new gun laws, and that's what they've done. Did you know that police had ordered their officers who had private firearms, they actually bust them in to go to the first hand-ins, to hand in their guns to make it look like they were shooter buy-in? Did you know that? The police are selling this. They're also editing things on social media, which again I think should be addressed in law. I don't think government departments should be able to take criticism off social media. I think it should be left there to be discussed. Yes, what else we have? The use of a firearm in a crime must become an automatic aggravating factor at the time of sentencing. We must give judges clear instruction on this. Whether you steal a gun, whether you possess a gun for a crime, whatever it is, there must be an automatic aggravating factor, because right now we're sending an incoherent message. We're saying go for it, and criminals are listening. The theft of a firearm must attract a new specific penalty, because what's happening now is police are saying, oh, you need bigger safes, you need more security. We have people doing home invasions, holding knives to our throats and saying open the safe. Now, I will do everything I can to keep my firearms safe, but I can only do that in partnership with government. You have to also send out the message that it is simply unthinkable to steal a gun. It's just not worth it, because you'll go to jail for too long. I'd also ask that the new laws recognise that mental health issues can be as fleeting as any other issue.
About a minute to go, Mike.
Okay. Basically, okay, well, I'd ask that the Bill of Rights be respected here. Again, other people have touched on this. The government is treating us with less rights than gangsters. That's crazy. You know, we have no right to freedom of speech. No right to freedom of speech. We have no right to remain silent. They can invade our homes. We have to prove ourselves innocent. Police errors can become a citizen's crime, and our privacy in every area is simply gone. Now, I don't know if I mentioned before, police are incompetent. They released a list to media of people they were spying on, and some people in the gun lobby were on that. And a media person told me that I was on that. They've talked to me, and you probably disagree with my views, I know the ladies will, but you see where I'm coming from here. We disagree on how to get there, but I just want to get the country safe. That's all I want. And now I'm on a government watch list. That's an immensely strange thing. The government's monitoring my emails, but all I want to do is keep the cops honest and keep the country safe. That is a very odd thing to say out loud in New Zealand. That's odd. I'm not a terrorist. Again, you have to know I'm vetted. You guess the firearms that I possess. That's repeated vetting over a lot of years, and I'm on a government watch list. That is weird. So I'd just like to, may I just finish on this, please? I'd like to close by saying that, observing that several MPs are now on record as saying that the last gun laws would not have passed if the Labour government had not rushed them through Parliament in a matter of days. I think that's disgraceful. To enact laws that the government knew would never pass genuine consideration is disgraceful. It's not democracy. That's not us, or at least it shouldn't be. So I'd ask that you please give these concerns now, some valid concerns, consideration.
Thank you.
Questions at a time?
No, out of time for questions. No.